Good evening. My name is Brian D'Amico, and I'm the Manager of Educational Services here at VectorVest. It is my pleasure to present your strategy of the week today for Friday, the 25th of October, 2013, titled Party Animals. We've got a few objectives today. The main objective is I want to make sure by the end of today's strategy, you had an effective trading plan to work with. I did have two other objectives for tonight's video. First off, I did want to show you how to find a strategy which is working well right now, and I wanted to show you the techniques to enhance that strategy development using the backtester and the auto tester. All right, well, let's begin by taking a look at that trading plan. We've said many times that you only need to know three things to be successful in the stock market. You need to know when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell. The signal that we're going to use tonight to determine when to buy will be the green light in the price column. This is also called the green light buyer signal. That means when a green light appears in the price column of the color guard, that will tell us it's okay to buy. Can you use other timing signals? Sure, such as the green light buyer RT kicker. In a moment, we'll look at the performance differences in using different timing signals. Next, we need to know which search to use to determine what stocks we're going to buy. And as the name of the video implies, we'll be using the search Party Animals. And to sell a stock, just as we do in the model portfolio, we'll be using a 10% trailing stop to sell individual positions. Once again, is that the only stop criteria you could use? No. In fact, we'll see in a moment that selling using a 50% gain or a 15% loss also works very well and actually had better performance than the 10% trailing stop. In addition to that, we'll use the confirm down call to tell us when to close all positions that are left in the portfolio. Now that we have that, let's take a look at how we got to that point. In other words, let's take a look at how we knew to use Party Animals as the search and how we figured out that a 10% trailing stop or the 50% gain or 15% loss worked very well. To do that, let's go right into VectorVest. The first thing you'll want to do is find out which searches performed the best during recent market upturns. So here we're looking at our market timing graph over the past 3 months. And you can see that the market's been in this nice little rally recently, and we got the confirmed up call here on the 18th of October. So you would want to find out which searches had performed the best from the market bottom until the market signal. So we had the market bottom occur down here on the 9th of October. So you'd want to test out all the searches that met your investment style from the market bottom on the 9th till the market signal on the 18th. So now that we know those dates, let's go over to the Unisearch tab. So I'll come up and click on Unisearch. And you should start off with the searches that match your investment style. So what we're going to do tonight is let's assume that you're an aggressive investor. So you start off with the aggressive folder, and we test out each of these searches, and you notice I set the date to the 9th of October. Now I'm not going to start with the aggressive search because that one doesn't have any price or average volume criteria on it. So let's go to the aggressive rebounders, and that one does have some average volume criteria. The volume needs to be over the average volume, so let's run this one. Now I'm just going to quick test the top 10 just to get some raw performance, and I'm only going to test it until the 18th. So I'm going to change the date there, and let's rerun the test. All right, even though it says a negative return here, most of that is because of this penny stock, and that's the downside of not having any price criteria. So let's skip this search. Let's go to aggressive small fry and run this one. This does have a price criteria, but only saying less than 15. So let's quick test the top 10 here. Once again, we do have a couple of penny stocks in here, 20-cent stock. We had a 3.5% gain. All right, so let's figure out what the next one did. Best stocks under 15. Let's run this one. Quick test the top 10. Wow, all of them went up. We can see that they're all at least $1. An 8.03% gain. That's very good. We'll run best stocks under 20. Quick test those. All right, as expected, same percentage gain. Basically the same stocks. How about bottle rockets? Well, this one only returned 4 stocks with the strict RT requirement of being over 1.5. Let's quick test those. All right, wow, great performance there, so I might want to test out that one further. But again, it only had 4 stocks, so I'd keep that in mind. Come over to high flyers. Let's run that one. Now that one didn't have any price criteria there, but if I'm looking at all the prices, they are all over $1. So let's check this one out. Oh, that's great. 8.6%, all winners. Party animals, let's run that one. Quick test those. 8.65, 9 out of 10 winners, so I like that as well. And you get the idea. You go through and you quick test all these searches. You'd come out with a handful of searches that you want to test more. So let's say I want to test out party animals because it had great performance. It found plenty of stocks to choose from. So let's actually look at this search a little more closely. This search is going to make sure that the average volume is over 50,000, which is good. We want some liquidity. The price is less than 20, but it also has a minimum price. These stocks have to be over $2. In addition, the VST needs to be greater than 1, and that means the combination of value, safety, and timing needs to be favorable. And these shares are sorted by VST descending. So you may have put this together by now. Many of the stocks that you see here will be very similar to the ones that you see in the stock viewer. The main difference is the price and average volume. But sometimes in the stock viewer, you might have stocks that are less than $2 or don't have that average volume criteria. So by using this search, it makes sure that all those stocks meet this criteria. So we're dealing with some very good stocks here. And you can see that down here in the list. Look at these ratings of RV, of RS, and RT. Great combinations. That's why we have such a high VST. Look at all the buy ratings. So we're dealing with some very good companies here. Your next step would be to take the handful of searches that perform the best in your quick tests and then fine-tune them using stop criteria and market timing. Since I knew the search performed well since the recent market bottom, I wanted to see how it performed over the past, let's say, about a year. And the VectorVest 7 Backtester, along with the Auto Tester, makes that extremely easy. So let's go over to the Backtester tab. So I'll click on that. And to build that test, I'm going to come down and click on Backtest an idea. And I'm just going to test out that party animal search using every one of our market timing signals. So I'll start off with the default account settings, $25,000 account, $20 per trade. And I'll just start off with our confirmed calls. And this does require the auto tester. And there is a link in the views tonight if you'd like to get a 2-week trial to it. So I'm going to come down and tell it what to do when we get a confirmed up call. And I'll be using the party animal search. I'm not going to use any stop criteria because that's going to give us a nice starting point. And once we see which timing signal provides the best annualized rate of return with no stop criteria, we'll know which one to start refining with stop criteria. All right, so I'll use no stop criteria here. I'm going to come over and choose, let's just do 5 stocks. Come down, I'm going to choose don't close any open positions when entering a confirmed up call. When we get a down signal, we'll go to cash. We'll come over to the test period here. And I'm just going to look for the confirmed up call that happened right near the beginning of the year. So we had one here on the 19th of December. I'll come over here and I'm just going to call this CC for confirmed call base. Now let's just run this one. All right, that was done very quickly. We had an annualized rate of return of 12.53%. So now let's just go through and let's test out the other market timing signal. So all I have to do is click on copy, change the market timing signal, and I'm just going to choose primary wave. I don't need to change anything here or here, but I do need to change the test period. So I'm going to look for the first primary wave up that was near the end of the year, and that happens to be November 20th. And we'll call this one primary wave base, and let's run this. So by having the auto tester included with the back tester, it makes it very easy to do tests like this because it's able to come in here and know when a signal change occurs. It'll buy 5 shares at this point. It's holding those 5 shares until the down signal when it's going to cash and waiting for the next up signal. And that's what the auto tester enables you to do. Use these market timing signals in your testing. All right, let's do one more and then I'll just fast forward to the completion of all the market timing signal tests. So I'll just copy this, change it from primary wave to DEW, and let's look for the DEW signal. There's one November 30th, and let's just call this one You guessed it, DEW base, and let's run it. All right, I'm going to pause the video at this point, and I'm going to finish up the other 3 timing signals that we've got, and then let's rejoin the video. There we go. All base runs are complete. Let me sort it by annualized rate of return here. And we can see here the top performing run was just using the green light buyer. The second best was using primary wave. But even though that was the second best and had a pretty good drawdown here, look at the total commissions. We're spending $4,300 in commissions, which means there's an awful lot of trading and maintenance using that signal. And we can see the green light buyer well outperformed the next one, which was the green light buyer RT kicker, but they both had very good performance. So why don't we start off with the green light buyer, and let's start to fine tune that one with stop criteria. By using stop criteria, it makes it more realistic, because you're not going to go in there and use no stop criteria in your trading. So to do that, it is very easy to do. And I'm going to show you the stop criteria that we typically test and the way that we do it. So I'm just going to come in here and click on copy. All I have to do is come over here and choose stop criteria. And we typically start off with a 30% gain and a 10% loss. So I'm just going to change the name to just 3010 and rerun it. So what the back tester along with the auto tester is doing is it'll buy 5 stocks on the first signal, maintain those positions based on the stop criteria. If a position gets sold based on a 30% gain or a 10% loss, it'll close it out, and it will only replace it if there is a green light in the price column of the color guard. And then when a confirmed down signal comes, it goes to cash. And it keeps repeating that all the way through the whole time period. So here we can see we went from a 75% annualized rate of return to a 28%. So let's try another stop criteria. So now we typically go from a 30-10, and we just bump it up a little bit. Let's go to, from 30, let's go to a 40, because perhaps we're capping gains a little bit. So let's go to a 40-10, and let's rerun it. All right, we can see the results there did improve. So maybe we were capping our gains a little bit with the 30. So let's try the next one up. We typically would then go to a 50. And 50 is usually as high as we go with our testing as far as a percent gain. So let's change this to a 50-10. And let's rerun it. All right, very promising. You know, we go from a 28 to a 32 to a 51 annualized rate of return. And what I like even better is our max drawdown improved. So the next thing we would do is try to loosen up the loss side. Maybe we're not giving them enough leeway to the downside. So let's come in here, let's hit copy. And we would typically then try a 50-20. So I'll change it to 50-20 and then just change the name and rerun it. All right, nice increase up to 74%. Now we don't typically go higher than 20, but what I usually like to do is try a nice little midpoint of 15. So let's copy this and change this down to 15. And I hope you see how quickly you can develop these plans like this. You just go in here and just quickly modify these things, and you're developing a trading plan extremely fast. All right, look at this. Look at this equity curve. I'll expand this in just a minute, but look, 80% annualized rate of return. We even improved our maximum drawdown. Those are some fantastic results. Now, usually after I test out the percentage gain loss stops, I'll come in here and copy this, and I'll test out the trailing stop. And you can see there's a lot of variations here. I'll leave that to you to go in there and test. But we typically start off with a 10% trail, which is what we're using in our model portfolio. So I'll come over here, and I'll just rename this to, I'll just do TS10 for trailing stop of 10. And let's rerun it. All right, so here we have our annualized rate of return. Not quite as high as the 80. It's at 49, still very respectable. 49% annualized rate of return. And what you might like even better is that the maximum drawdown is only 10% on this trading plan. So like I said at the very beginning, A 10% trailing stop has some very nice performance, but if you like the 50% gain or 15% loss, that does show some greater performance. Let's recap the trading plan that we looked at today. Tonight we looked at using the green light in the price column, otherwise known as the green light buyer signal, to tell us when to buy. We used the party animal search to tell us what to buy, and we just chose the top 5 shares from that search. And you would sell using your stop criteria. And our model portfolio is currently using a 10% trailing stop, but we also saw that a 50% gain or a 15% loss also works very well. And of course, you would close all positions on a confirmed down signal. Tonight, I hope you all saw an effective trading plan, along with how you can find a top performing strategy and then enhance it using the backtester. To learn more about the strategy and technique shown today, we'll be holding a live Q&A webcast on Thursday, the 31st of October at 7 p.m. Sydney time. There is a link in the views tonight to register for it, or you can go to vectorvest.com/events. Be sure to click on the Australian flag to see the webcasts for your region. You can also use that Q&A webcast as a time to ask any other question that you may have regarding VectorVest. I'd like to thank you all for attending tonight and hope you have a fantastic weekend. Good night, everybody.